we have been looking very carefully and listening very closely to what we are being told by Dominicans themselves as to what they want. And it's clear that the vision for Dominica is for Dominica to be a true nature island.
Let me first of all recognize the Honourable Francine Baron, Minister for Foreign Affairs and CARICOM Affairs, Baroness Patricia Scotland, Commonwealth Secretary General Designate, and here in her capacity as International Disaster Relief Coordinator, Mr. John McAslan, architect, and I like to call him world-renowned architect and infrastructure expert, Dr. Lucretia Gabrielle, consultant, agronomist, agrochemist, and the staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, members of the media who are present, welcome. We are here for a brief press conference to brief you on the visit of Baroness Patricia Scotland, who is here leading a team made up of John McAslan and Dr. Lucretia Gabrielle, who are experts in their own right. They have been here for the last few days, visiting some of the affected sites, the affected areas, meeting with some of the technical staff of the various ministries, permanent secretaries, ministers, Prime Minister, as part of a scoping study that will be done to assist us in developing a reconstruction plan post-Erica, and also to assist us with gaining funding for some of the projects that we have identified. We are very pleased that Baroness has been able to visit us once again in such a short space of time, and that she has brought with her this time two very exciting people. I have been fortunate to be with them this week, and I can tell you that John has been all over the place, hiking, climbing, taking photos, and experiencing Dominica. He will tell you a bit more of his experience. But at this time, I would like to welcome the Honourable Francine Baron as she gives us a few brief remarks about this visit and what we have been able to accomplish. Minister Baron.
Gabrielle, ladies and gentlemen of the media, good morning to you all. When Tropical Storm Erica visited Dominica last August, it left in its wake massive destruction, loss of life, and loss of property. No one in our lifetime had experienced or witnessed such great devastation to our island home caused by the power of water. The occurrence of extreme and more frequent weather events is now thought to be the inevitable consequence of the effects of climate change. Will we again experience another Erica? The answer, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is indeed a possibility. So how do we respond? We build back, and we build back better. After the storm, we were fortunate to have received an immediate response from the international community. Our friends and development partners alike sprung into action to deliver the assistance that was critical to address and support the relief effort. In very quick time, the government was able to evacuate those who were in dangerous circumstances, clear numerous landslides and debris from our roadways, erect temporary bridges to reopen vehicular access, and was able to make the Melvin Hall Airport operational once again. All this in record time. This remarkable response was possible because of the astute leadership of our Honourable Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit and the strong international relations that he was able to engender with his progressive foreign policy. The road to rebuilding and recovery, however, is a long and arduous one. The Prime Minister has been accused of being a visionary, and that he is. It was immediately clear to him after the storm that if we were to recover from Erica, and if we were to rebuild Dominica and build it back better, that we needed all hands on board. We needed to call on assistance from all quarters. We needed to be open to receiving advice and support from the international community. When Storm Erica dealt us a most severe blow, Dominica was at that time in the throes of our campaign to have our very own Baroness Patricia Scotland elected as the next Secretary General of the Commonwealth. Despite the fact that she was then focused on the momentous task of bringing her message to the Commonwealth of a vision for change and strengthening of that grouping. Immediately upon learning of the disaster, Baroness Scotland telephoned Prime Minister Skerrit to see how she could be of assistance. Because of her vast experience and knowledge, the great friendships and alliances that she has made in the international arena, the Prime Minister decided to appoint her as International Relief Aid Coordinator. Since then, she has been working to deliver on that mandate, and this is why we are here today, to brief you on the scoping mission that was undertaken this week through her efforts. As the PS has just informed you, Mr. John McAslan is an urban design and infrastructure expert of very high repute in the UK and of great experience in post-disaster response. He has done significant work in Haiti after the earthquake. And in 2014, he received the Queen's Award for Enterprise in International Trade. He was accompanied on this mission by Agronomist Dr. Gabrielle, who resides in Trinidad and is a former lecturer at UWI and now is a consultant. Also with him was Baroness Scotland, of course, and they visited affected communities, areas affected by the storm, our resettlement sites, and spoke with various members of our committees on infrastructure, resettlement, social services, agriculture, among others. And I will leave them to tell you a bit more about their activities over the last few days. This initial visit was made possible with the assistance of the British government and was focused on understanding the extent of the recovery challenge, what efforts were already underway, what needed to be done in the short, medium, and long term. This mission will set the stage for a more detailed scoping study and development of a reconstruction plan for a green economy, with support from the British Department for International Development, DFID, and others. We can only hope to recover and recover quickly if we reach out to others and embrace the expertise that is out there. We cannot do it alone. Our people on the ground are working hard, and I commend them for the tremendous work that they are doing. But their efforts must be complemented, informed, and supported. And this is what we expect to be one of the results of this initiative. I thank all of you for continuing to partner with us as we continue with our rebuilding efforts. And I want to say a special thank you to Baroness Scotland, John McAslan, and Dr. Gabrielle for your sterling efforts on behalf of the people of Dominica. We look forward to continued engagement and discussion with you as we continue on the road to build back Dominica and to build back Dominica better. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Baron. Baroness Patricia Scotland, as we know, has been recently appointed as the Commonwealth Secretary General, and she will take up office on the 1st of April of this year. But until then, she is here as our International Relief Coordinator, and she is going to speak to you briefly on the mission that was conducted here over the last few days, and also her vision, which she has been over the last few days explaining to us what she would like to see for Dominica, building back better, but building back with a green economy in mind. So at this time, I would like to welcome Baroness Patricia Scotland as she presents a few brief remarks.
Can I firstly thank the Minister and the Permanent Secretary for inviting me to speak with you today, and the honour of being your disaster relief coordinator, coordinating the international effort. As you will know, Dominica has decided rightly to build back and to build back better, as the Minister has said. And in order to do that, we have been looking very carefully and listening very closely to what we are being told by Dominicans themselves as to what they want. And it's clear that the vision for Dominica is for Dominica to be a true nature island, consistent with the COP21 agenda, but resilient to the shocks which have struck Dominica so forcefully. And the task that was given to me was to see how I could best assist Dominica to deliver that which she has decided to do. And so the approach that we've taken is to create a needs-based assessment. What does Dominica need? Then to look at an audit. What has Dominica already done, and what does Dominica have? then to do a gap analysis between the needs and what we have in order to help put together an action plan to deliver a more secure, more well-functioning approach to deal with the enormous difficulties which we face, both with climatic change caused by the fact that we have a volcanic island, which may be subject to earthquake, which may be subject to hurricane, which also may be subject to tropical storm. In order to do that, of course, all of us need the greatest expertise that we can find. And that's why we reached out to John McAslan, because of the extraordinary work that he and his partnership have done in various countries in the world, not least Haiti. Many of you will remember that Haiti was struck by the earthquake and absolutely devastated. More than 1 million people were displaced. And John McAslan and partners were the architects who created the initiative to build back better the centre of Port-au-Prince. And it was for that reason that I invited him to come with Dr. Gabrielle and myself to Dominica to see how we could best make use of his experience. And it is part of the paying back to communities that their partnership, his partnership, seeks to deliver. And he doesn't like me using the word pro bono because he's a Scotsman. But it is pro bono. So the whole team are here as volunteers. Everyone has waived their consultancy fee, and the work that we are undertaking is to work in partnership with the people of Dominica to help to build back better. And I'm now going to ask John McAslan to tell us a little bit, firstly about the experience he has had building back better elsewhere. Secondly, the work that he undertook in Haiti, not because it's the same, but it gives us an indication of what may be possible. And most importantly, and I hope he'll do this first, what he has seen in the last 3 days and experienced here in Dominica. I'll then ask Dr. Lucretia Gabrielle to amplify what she has seen in Dominica and some of the things that we are going to look to achieve going forward. As PS has told you, John McAslan has been seen scrambling over hills, across bridges, and going places where other people should not go. So I'm very grateful to him, and I'm now going to ask him to give us a short oversight of those 3 areas. Please, thank you very much.
One of the great things if you're going to offer pro bono advice, in my view, is that you really can make demands of others as well as yourself. So it's you have a particular obligation with this sort of work to really do your best, you know, to be on the top of your game. And I'm not sure I've managed to do that, but I hope that I have made some useful insights into Dominica and what the future might hold. So in terms of what we've seen, I mean, the first thing is physically, Dominica is the sort of place I really love. I mean, I was brought up in the west of Scotland on the water, so anything with an edge, as far as I'm concerned, is good. And Dominica is, of course, has got lots of edges, and is absolutely glorious and beautiful place. Has got wonderful governance, has got great people, and magnificent architecture. And so it's got so many of the ingredients of a place that I absolutely warm to and cherish being engaged in. So what have we seen? Well, as mentioned previously, the purpose of this first exercise has been to produce what we've called a scoping plan. That is to understand the extent of damage and to formulate a plan for the future. And the key areas that we have visited have highlighted in a way the extraordinary progress that's been made since August the 27th in terms of recovery, but of course the challenges that lie ahead. The challenges that lie ahead, I think, are probably primarily, in some sort of order, infrastructure repair, because at the heart of this sort of project or this sort of disaster is the need to not just repair infrastructure, but reconsider how infrastructure was formed in the first place. So that's roads, it's utilities provision, it's how you protect from future flooding. So the issue of infrastructure repair, I think, is absolutely at the heart of the challenges that lie ahead and the particular inputs that will be required. The second, of course, is the pressing need for resettlement, for not just repair of homes in order that people can return to their livelihoods, but also to rehouse those who have lost their homes in the tragic circumstances of Erica. And then, of course, there are the other associated issues, which are equally important, of agriculture, of fisheries, of forestries, of social issues. So there's a whole series of ingredients that we've witnessed, and which will form the basis of the plan that then emerges and moves forward. But it is all very doable, in my view. It's a complex and long-term project, but it is all very doable, and it's doable principally because I think in many cases you have a remarkable population here who are resilient and have made enormous progress themselves in rebuilding and recovering from Erica. In terms of Baroness Scotland's generous remarks relative to our experience in the field relating to recovery and building back better, yes, I suppose Haiti is the principal direct relevant experience to this project, because it has many of the ingredients that we have seen in Dominica. And I think there's also some lessons that we learned from our activities in Haiti, which may or may not be appropriate to bring forward here. So there's the idea potentially of having a place where people can meet and talk about the recovery effort and participate in a consultative way about the plans for the future. So it is very much owned by the people of Dominica. There's the idea that you bring all of the best expertise together to help inform infrastructure repair and resettlement, which is something that I think is a key here, is to get the very best brains working with you collaboratively to ensure that there is a successful outcome, which indeed there will be. And then thirdly, of course, there is, which is absolutely central to this, is the planning of the effort, and to not just see a point in the future when the project will be complete, but to sort of work back from that in order to identify key projects that can be markers along the way of the progress towards recovery. So I hope we can bring that expertise to bear that we've managed to develop in the rather very tragic circumstances of Haiti. Some of the projects we built in the UK, some of the projects we built in Malawi with people like the Clinton Foundation, school rebuilding, hospital rebuilding. So I hope we will do our very best to contribute on this pro bono basis, which Baroness Scotland has outlined, to contribute to your wonderful country's recovery. Thank you very much.
I would just like to ask Dr. Gabrielle to give us some remarks from her point of view in terms of the specialist knowledge that she has, an agronomist, but also to give us some of the observations that she has made during this 3-day visit. Dr. Gabrielle.
For me, it is that when you have a project like this, that you personalize it. It can be that we can talk about Dominica, we can talk about natural disasters, but a lot of things, I think we get much further. Who are we talking about? When I think of this, I remember when I came in December, what struck me and has remained with me is that I, as a child of Dominica, remember the rain. And it was when I was told that now, after Erica, there are children in Dominica who start to cry once it rains. So whatever we do, however we move forward, to me the final test is not how much money we've spent, what expertise we all have in whatever field, but how have we used those skills to relieve the trauma of this child. And to me, that child is, because traditionally we give the highest importance to children up to 4, is a 4-year-old child. How has that happened? When it comes to my expertise in agronomy, I'm a soil scientist, a soil chemist. So when I am told about really the very deep infrastructural complexities that Dominica faces, it is that our roads are between the mountain, the ravine, and the sea. And you see the mountain come down. You can't take it for granted. Although you pass through it, it looks safe, it may not be safe. The river, the water has come up. What shocked Baroness Scotland is everybody says that whereas other islands may have hurricane, yes, storms, yes, we have volcanoes, we have earthquake, but you also have the possibility of a tsunami. And that they could hit one after each other, or you could have 2 or 3 of them hit at the same time. And yet, learning from Erica, learning from what has happened here in the past, we have to put it together and say, what is the best practice we could develop that would protect you when you woke up, on which all of you did, and I didn't because I wasn't living in Dominica, and Erica had happened. In essence, what we have to learn from it is when something like that happens, what do we have in place to do? You have the challenge of immediately having to rehouse people, resettle them. They can't wait 2 years sitting in the rain for things to happen. But you have the things going forward. What can we learn? What I have learned is, again, since Hurricane David, I would ring up somebody in Dominica when a hurricane is supposed to be coming, and they'd say, nah, man, nothing happened. Just a few coconut trees fell, a few banana trees, but not for Erica. So for me, it is what you do, what I do, what everybody else does, how does that move it forward? Whatever qualifications we have to make it safe for that 4-year-old child. How do we build resilient communities which can withstand a wide range of natural disasters with least damage to the infrastructure and to life and housing? That is what it's about. It's not about anything else except that. So when you write your stories, when you communicate about what we have to say, how does that move it forward to help that 4-year-old child? When I get up in the morning and I work, how does it do that? What does it do? It's not about me, that child. That's what I would like you to look at, and that's what I will look at, and that's what I hope John McAslan, the Minister, and Baroness Scotland will look at, and she will tell you that having given her my time, there's a cost to it. I want the results for that child. Thank you very much.
The last thing that I'd like to say is this recovery is something that absolutely each and every one of us needs to be part of. Whether they are, like me, part of the diaspora, living outside of Dominica for some of the time, within Dominica for the rest of the time, or those of us who live on a full-time basis here, or people like John, who has just been seduced by the beauty of our country. All of us can do something. All of us can make a contribution to this recovery. And I hope when we go out to the consultation, each and every Dominican will not say, what are they going to do? But we will each ask ourselves a very personal question. And that is, what am I going to do to make sure that when the rain falls next time, we have mitigated the risks that apply to all of our vulnerable people, the 4-year-old child, but also the old lady who is 98, or like Mapampu, 126, 28, and doesn't have anyone to rescue them. What are we each going to do to make sure Dominica is the safe country it has always been? And I'll tell you something. We Dominicans are very resilient, and we have real initiative and ingenuity. And I believe that with God's grace, we can and we will do this. We will build back Dominica, and we'll build her back better.
Can you tell us how is that going to be developed? How is that reconstruction plan, and who's going to initiate that plan? Because we have of the impression that a plan is in place at this moment. A government plan is in place. So we just wanted some information as to how is this plan you're referring to, how is that going to be initiated, who's going to be starting it, and how is it going to work? Thank you very much.
Yeah, we are here to assist Dominica to deliver Dominica's plan. So Dominica already has a rehabilitation plan for itself. One of the things that we are doing is coming here to listen to what Dominica wants for herself, and then looking as to how we can assist the delivery of that plan. So it is not a different plan, it is the same plan, and looking at how the international community and those who may be willing to assist Dominica from within Dominica, from within our region, from within the Commonwealth, and through the wider world, how we can garner that support to enable Dominica to deliver the plan she is already on. And we have listened very carefully to what everyone has said to us whilst we have been here. And we are also going to hopefully speak to NGOs and others to listen to what they're doing. That's why this is not an alternative. It is a collaboration. So in Dominica, you know, we used to have a partner or a come. So we're coming here, if you like, to be the come, to be saying, how can we help you to do what you want to do for yourself? And the thing that's been extraordinary, and I saw it when I was on the first plane, Liat plane, back in September when it landed, and I went around the island, and what brought me almost to tears is to watch how Dominicans all over Dominica were coming on a pro bono basis, not for money, not for anyone's telling them to do things, to help each other. And that's what we are about, helping each other. So this team is here to help Dominica deliver Dominica's plan. It's not anyone else's plan. We are only here to assist.
Let me just ask you a follow-up question. I'm sure the PS won't mind me asking a follow-up question. Some have questioned your performance as International Relief Aid Coordinator for Dominica. I'm sure you've heard comments in the media about how you've performed. Could you now use this opportunity to at least, react to these statements in the media?
Well, firstly, I have to tell you that I'm not burdened with sufficient time to listen to comments that you've just referred to. So I'll take it from you that there has been negative comments. All I can tell you is that I was having my 60th birthday celebration when I received a call to tell me that Erica had struck and what was I going to do about it. Now, you will know that I'm not actually a member of the Dominican government, and neither am I a member of the Dominican opposition, and neither am I an official. But I am someone who loves my country. And therefore, I immediately sought to engage all the international players that I had in my iPhone and rang absolutely everyone to try and get government assistance, supported by international assistance. Many of you will remember that the frigate arrived to assist Dominica, and that frigate arrived because I was ceaseless in the telephone calls that I made, not only to the Foreign Secretary in the United Kingdom, but DFID and others. We also had trenchant support from the UNDP and from the Red Cross. I spoke to Sedima. We did the coordination work to try and make sure that Dominica was not flooded by international actors wanting to be of assistance but causing potentially more difficulty than they cured. And I have continued throughout this period to talk to international agencies. I've spoken to the IMF. I spent 2 days in Rome last week speaking to the World Bank and to Christine Lagarde. I've spoken to the Pope. I've spoken to the foreign ministers, and I will continue to speak and do all I can to support Dominica. But there is a difference between me and many others. Lots of people like to talk and they do nothing. I do and am silent. So this is the first time perhaps I am giving you an idea of what I've done on virtually every day since the 27th of October. I've thought about it, of August. I've thought about it, I have worked on it, and the reason that Dr. Gabrielle and John McAslan are here is because I am relentless. And I think some people now see me and they run. This is our first visit. It's been very important for me that I am able to introduce some of the teams that are going to be working with Dominica going forward. As you know, I will become the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, responsible for 53 countries on the 1st of April. I will cease being Dominica's international relief coordinator, disaster relief coordinator, at midnight on the 31st of March. So until then, I will continue with my focus on Dominica, but of course, come the 1st of April, my focus should properly then direct itself to all the 53 countries for whom I will be responsible. There are issues that I've already put on the table that are important to me. Climate change is very important to all 53 countries, and it's for that reason the UN came to an agreement on COP21. The Sustainable Development Goals that we signed at the UN in September and the delivery of those goals are also important to all of us. and we will be working on those. And of course, Dominica will be affected both by climate change and the SDG, and will be part of that 53, hopefully, delivery. I'm also hoping to look at best practice in a number of areas. We have an opportunity in Dominica of turning Dominica into a green island, and in so doing, looking at all the shocks and problems that are in our region and trying to find some of those solutions which will deliver on the COP21 agenda. So those issues will go forward. I'm very anxious that we do everything we can to work together to make what some people think is a dream of climate change reduction into a reality. But that's why I say it'll take all of us. Every single Commonwealth citizen will have to play their part if we are going to have the world that we would like to have for our children. And it's our responsibility. And I have chosen to do everything I can to make that a reality. I hope absolutely every citizen of the Commonwealth and every citizen, particularly of Dominica, will choose to.
Let me just to wrap up. There was a question earlier about the sectors that we may have met with. So just to advise you that Baroness and her team, while they have been here, have met with the various cabinet-appointed subcommittees, including the technical committees and the chairs of the cabinet subcommittees. So we've met with the private sector committee, which would be trade, agriculture, and tourism. We have also, the team has met with the Ministry of Agriculture in particular, the Minister of Agriculture and the senior officials of the Ministry of Agriculture. We've met with the Ministry of Public Works and the Ministry of Finance, which would be the infrastructure, the main players in the infrastructure subcommittee. And we've also met with the Minister of Social Services. So we've looked at all of the sectors and been able to cover, as well as being able to speak to some of the people on the ground. Right, John? Okay, so on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, let me thank you very much for being here this morning. I would like to say special thanks to Baroness Scotland for being here and for convincing John to be here. He does not like to hear the word. He says it hits him in his heart. But John has been...
It's my honor to be here.
It's your honor to be...
I'm honored to be here.
Yes, yes. We are very happy to have John here, and we hope to see him back again, not just for work, but we hope John will be back here on vacation with his family. We know that he really enjoyed the sights and the sounds of Dominica, and he has lots of photos to take back, particularly of the architecture in Roseau, which he was very amazed at. Of course. And Dr. Gabrielle, we are also very happy that you've come to us from Trinidad, but we are overall pleased with the success of this visit, and we look forward to the follow-up visit and the initiatives that will come as a result of this visit. So again, thank you very much to the media, to Curtis and everybody else. We are very happy that you have been here this morning. All right? Thank you.